Suzy's back, and for good reason, because this summer's been a little bit different than others. We usually do a lot more camping. Anyways, we'll get to that in a minute, but I have a surprise for her. By the way, if you don't know who Suzy is, well, she's right here behind me. This is our 1978 Glendale motorhome that we use, and I've been repairing it for the last couple of years. I got a whole playlist set up in the description box ready for you guys to watch if you guys are interested. But we love this thing. It's absolutely a whole bunch of fun to go out as a family and just enjoy, you know, what Mother Nature has to offer. So, but like I was saying, there's a special surprise in store for her because I think this is a much needed improvement and upgrade. Here it is. This is what we've got. So I got a call from a good friend. He heard of another motorhome about the same era that was getting scrapped, unfortunately. And the owner had just bought brand new tires, probably about a year ago. I mean, check this out, guys. These are like, I mean, they're brand new. There's nothing wrong with these. There's no cracks. They are awesome. There is one thing that I'm not very fond of, and that right here is these remote lines. I can see the benefit to having these, especially for the inside dually. A lot easier to check the air. But I forget which one it is now. See, I moved this one, nothing happened. Oh, actually it is a little bit loose. So that's the one reason why I don't like them. They get loose. And one of them was low on air. This one's holding air. Oh, do you hear it? It is this one. So hopefully it's just the remote line. We're going to tackle that right now. And then we're going to go ahead and start putting them on the motorhome and seeing what's going on. I'll show you what's on there because it's a popular upgrade now. So these, by the way, size-wise are 215 85 16s. What's on the motorhome right now? Well, let's go see. So these are 8.75 16.5. Yeah, that's right. They're 16.5-inch rim. They no longer make that anymore. So this is a radial tire. It used to be way back in the day just bias ply. However, it's a more modern tire. But the reason I'm not very keen on these is because they're hard to find, for one. So if I get a blowout, this is the only one I have. This is the spare. That's the only spare I'll ever have. And if I get two blowouts, well, then I'm kind of stuck. And this spare, for example, it's starting to show some cracking down in the tread. So I plan on going much further than I have in the past with this thing. So I would like to make sure that we're safe. Okay, so like I said earlier, first things first, let's get rid of all these remote lines, give them a good cleaning and see if they fit, because this came off a Ford and I was doing some research. Apparently Ford will still fit GM when it comes to rims. So let's find out. So to answer the question, does the Ford rim fit on a GM? The answer is no. And let me explain why. So the pattern, yes, the bolt pattern is the same. But this ring here, the center, is not the same. This is too big. And that's important because here's the GM rim, and this one fits the way it should be. So right now all the load will be transferred to the center here. But more importantly, on the Ford rim, if I flip this one around, there's a nub right here. And that nub does not exist on a GM. So that means I'm gonna have to get all of my tires unmounted from the rim, from here. I won't be able to do anything with those ones because those are 16.5s. But I did a few years back buy a whole set of 16s GMs. So that means these tires need to go on these rims and get balanced. Oh, this just turned into a longer process than I was hoping. Okay, so it's a couple days later and it's dark because it's actually quite late. But lucky for me, I've got lights underneath my carport. I'm gonna be able to do what I can to get these tires on. I'm gonna go as far as I can tonight before I get super tired. It's been a long day, and most of my videos actually get filmed around this time of night. It's like 9 p.m. right now. I usually film for about another 2 hours, but that's just the way life works. Probably why I always have bags under my eyes. Kind of makes sense now. But we're going to try and take off as many of these old tires and put on some of the new tires, because I'm excited to try the balance beads. I've never tried these on any tires, and that's what they recommended for the motorhomes. And I guess the reason behind that kind of makes sense. It's because motorhomes sit for a long time and they end up with a flat spot on the tires. So let's try them out. Let's just start working. Alright, so it's another day, guys, and I've managed to get all the tires on in one night. Worked out pretty good, actually, and I think they look pretty nice. It is a little bit taller, like I was mentioning. They are 1 inch taller, and you can actually see it in the step over here when you take it out. But we're actually going to go take a quick ride, because I want to see if the alignment is good. Now, one thing this thing used to do is it always pulled towards the ditch a little bit. But the reason it was doing that is because I just checked the alignment. I didn't do a video on it because it took a while, but I did a string alignment. So what you do, and I'll link a video of what I followed. Really nice detailed video, a little bit long, but it was very detailed. So you take a string from the back all the way to the front, and you're basically making a nice square box. And then from that line that would be, let's say, coming down here, you would be measuring from the front and back of the wheel, and then you just adjust it from there. And I found that both wheels were heading towards the right of the vehicle, so I cambered this one in, towed this one in, because camber is a different adjustment, but I towed this one in a little bit, so they're both sitting at about a 1/4 inch toe in, and I'm hoping that that actually does the trick, because if I show you, the other thing I had to do is make sure that my steering wheel was nice and square, because otherwise when you do the adjustments, you end up turning the wheel. So let's take all this stuff off and go for a quick ride. Alright, so here we go. We're just taking a ride here, and so far I apologize, it's a little bit dark. This road's a little bit bumpy as well, but it's actually not as bumpy, and it's a little bit more quiet with these new tires, if I do say so. And if I let go of the wheel real quick, I am not darting towards the right of the ditch here. Like, I mean, I could not let go of this wheel at all. Like right now, I don't have to panic. I can actually scratch my nose if I had to. And one thing I also noticed is, if I look at the RPMs here, doing the regular speed, I think I might have dropped almost 300 RPM. So that's really good, because that's going to save me probably a little bit of gas along where I'm, where I'm going, which is great. So it's kind of like adding a rubber gear, so so to speak, having those extra inches on the ground. So I'm going to say this is actually a pretty good win here. And yeah, you might have noticed the wheel is not perfectly straight. It's still off a little bit, but it is running true. I'm not going to worry about it, because, well, I mean, she's like 45 years old, so I'm not going to complain if she's got a little bit of loose or anything like that, and I'm not going to go out and trade her for a new model. I mean, like, that's just going to cost me a whole bunch of money, and probably lose my health halfway out doing it. But anyways, this is actually really good. I'm super happy to put these tires on. In conclusion, what do I think of the new tires? I mean, this is what the old tires look like. They were, starting to get a little bit weather beat. This is a spare, so I'm going to keep it, because I only purchased 6. I should purchase another one, but this is what the new tires look like. I think I've already made a couple of shots, and yes, guys, I apologize. It's the next day or a couple of days later yet again. Just some of these days are just not long enough. I can't get everything done, but they are awesome. Yes, the wheel is a little bit off center, but she goes down the road perfectly straight, no shake, no wobble, and I would say that's because it's thanks to these balance beads. These happen to be made by EcoBalance. I will leave a description or even just a link to their website. I'm not sponsored. However, if you're doing your own mounting of your own tires and you don't want to send it into a shop, there is a chart that you can follow based off tire size and weight of the vehicle. I followed that. This is what I ended up doing. I like the fact you just throw the whole bag in the tire and it just does the rest. It is awesome. So, oh, and before I forget, there is one thing I did off camera that is really beneficial, part of my new updates and upgrades. Yeah, that's right, I added a backup camera. This thing is now into the 21st century. Check it out. I also like it because I can just power it up without even having to have the unit on. So I just flick the little pop-up screen here. Pops up violently, however it works. And then down here on my cigarette lighter, which still works, amazing enough, there's my backup camera. Not huge, but it does the job, and I like the fact I can fold it down so that when I'm driving, it's not in the way. And I just gotta remember to turn off the power because it's just direct power from the battery. So anyways, guys, that is gonna do it for today's video. And I really hope you enjoyed it. I know it's not probably the best quality. Again, I apologize for the one scene where I think the battery was going dead on my microphone. It's a little bit crackly, I apologize. But we are still using Suzy very well. Actually, the mileage is currently at 99,217 kilometers. So I know you guys are excited to see it roll over 100,000. I think we're going to do that soon. I got a couple of trips lined up before winter. So stick around for that, and I hope you guys have a great day. I will catch you all in the next video. Thanks for watching.